Oh, perfect. My name is Hillary Melander, and Dr. Brian Harris is going to be presenting today, and we're looking forward to learning from him. Dr. Harris and his innovative ideas around cosmetic dentistry and patient communication will absolutely transform the way you practice dentistry. He is recognized in the industry for helping doctors use social media and virtual consulting technology to attract and treat more complex restorative and smile cases in their practice. So he is a 2005 graduate of the University of Pacific School of Dentistry and a practicing dentist in Phoenix, Arizona. He is also a recognized key opinion leader, having presented to audiences large and small more than 200 times in 5 different countries. So Dr. Harris, thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll go ahead and turn the reins over to you.
Awesome. I was starting to think I was going to have to just talk the whole time, and I was up for the challenge without any slides, but it was stressing me out a little bit. So listen, first off, Hillary, thank you. Thank you for inviting me to be a part of this. And doctors, team members that are watching, thank you for, just being here to listen. I think one of the coolest things about our profession is that, we are constantly evolving, and there's so many amazing things that are happening with technology. And that's what I hope to be able to bring to you today, is just some of the things that really are working in the market. There's a huge difference between knowing and doing. I think in our profession, we go and we learn about things. So my challenge to you before I dive in here is really focus on taking notes on just a couple things that you may feel would impact your practice, because everything's not going to be for you, but there will be some things that you're like, oh, you know what, that could work in our office, and take notes on that, and then go and do it. All the success is in the doing. So when I was thinking about a title for this, I came up with the how to grow when others are slow, and I paused for a minute because I thought, geez, that sounds like a little aggressive, and it sounds a little insensitive. Listen, the secret is no secret. It's getting more ideal new patient leads and existing patients in your practice wanting to do more elective procedures. So the difficult thing is usually like, okay, how do you make that happen? Because in a perfect world, we would love to just show up and walk in the room with people that are ready to move forward and are excited about treatment, right? But we don't get that luxury. And so I'm going to show you today how to do that, because you can actually create more of these patients if you know how to get in front of them. And that's usually the toughest thing in dentistry, is knowing how to attract more of those types of patients. So we're going to talk about why your current treatment presentation process is broken. We'll talk about technology, how to leverage it. We'll talk about how to stop making it so difficult for people to do business with you, because we do, and we don't realize we're doing it, but we're doing it. We're going to talk about something that I call social proof, that has been huge in helping me build my brand and helping a lot of other doctors do the same for theirs, and it can for you and yours too. And then we're going to talk about how you can do all of this without selling. There's no need to sell dentistry anymore. We live in a day and age where, really educating and serving people is the best way to sell, because, they're much more aware now than ever before. So the bold statement: the way you're currently presenting treatment, the way you're currently bringing new patients into the practice, it's broken. And this isn't just you and your practice, it's something that all of us are doing in the dental profession, because we've never really known anything different. So when you look at it and break it down, ultimately people just want to know 3 things. Can you help me? Like, what are my options? What is it going to cost? Okay, so think about the millions of people out there wanting to know those things, especially when it comes to elective procedures. And what do we make them do? In a day and age where we can pick up our phone and order lunch, I can order lunch. I can even order, a set of dry erase markers right now, and within 30 minutes have it delivered here, no questions asked, that easy. Everything is immediate, automatic. Yet look at what we do in the dental profession. We do magazine ads, we do direct mail, We pay companies to manage our SEO and AdWords. We got social media, word of mouth. You may be doing billboards. You may be doing, different health fairs and shows. And where do we send every single one of those leads? Typically the call to action is a phone number. We send them to a phone call, and we have somebody answering that phone that isn't necessarily trained in phone sales. It's actually a very, very difficult thing. Doctors, if you've never tried it, I challenge you to do it one day during your lunch break. Sit up front and answer a phone call. You get people calling and asking all sorts of questions. And so we are depending on whoever that person is. Think of who that is in your office that's answering the phone. That is that's the face of your practice, and they're the ones 100% in control of your success. Because if they can't get that patient to schedule, then those are just leads lost. 40% of the time, phones don't even get answered in dental practices. Those are national statistics. If it does go well, let's say they answer the phone, it does go well, they get them scheduled. Now we are at the mercy of the patient. They have to show up. If they show up, now we have to walk in the room and connect with these people. They know nothing about us. We know nothing about them. They're in a vulnerable environment. We may be running late on our last procedure. We may be having 2 hygienists waiting for exams. It's a very, the process is out of our control. And we've got to figure out ways to connect with patients. Then we go over options. We're trying to guess what it is that they want. Now we're presenting multiple different treatment options. The one thing they all really want to know is, okay, what does this really cost? We finally were an hour into the appointment, 7 steps later when we talk about this, and we talk about it without their spouse even present, or without their parents or their grandparents, or whoever will help them make financial decisions. So we're putting the success of our treatment presentations on our patients being able to go home and discuss these things with their spouse and try to get them to understand that this is something that they do need and they do want. So national average, 30 to 50% case acceptance on elective treatment. That's crazy. If you compared that to other businesses outside of dentistry, do you think they manage their leads that way? Do you think they put patients or their clients through all this? No, they don't. So dentistry as a sales cycle is one of the most inefficient sales cycles in business. So what we're going to talk about today is a way where you can bypass all of that instead of being, at the mercy of your patient being able to talk to their spouse and moving forward, or at the mercy of that patient showing up or hoping that you connect. Send them first through a virtual consult. I'll explain what that is in a minute, because by the time they're actually in the chair, they know who you are, the trust is there, they have an idea of the type of work you do, they have a general understanding of what things are going to cost, and they know the process. So just the mere fact that they're actually going to show up in your chair, what does that tell you? They're ready to move forward. And so now you walk into every single new patient exam and get 90% case acceptance on high dollar cases, big elective dentistry. But you also now only get to spend your time with people that are ready to move forward and are fully educated. And you still get to serve everybody else that maybe isn't ready to move forward with treatment. You still get to serve them because you get to give them your time. You get to share some of your expertise. You just do it in 5 to 7 minutes, not a full hour, and then find out that they weren't ready to move forward with treatment or they had no idea what things cost. Okay? Now, I don't believe teledentistry works. And the way it's being taught in our profession is patients in pain, they reach out, you schedule a live consult, you talk to them about what it is that they need and get them to come in and see you. And we're going to charge what, $40 for that, $60 for that, or a patient needs something, we're going to schedule a Zoom call and then do that during a time where we normally be seeing patients and have to go back and forth and listen to all their questions. Dentists do not make money in that fashion. Medical doctors do. That's how they make money every single day, is consulting with people, giving advice, writing scripts. It works for telemedicine. Dentists make money doing actual procedures. So that form of teledentistry does not work. It's not efficient. Virtual consults, however, do. Essentially using video, pre-recorded video that you record when you have time, or your treatment coordinator records when they have time, and then you send it to the patient watches when they have time. non-invasive, there's no barriers, makes it very, very easy for you to get in front of more people. Okay, so think about that new patient now as they're getting ready to come into the office, and them getting a personalized welcome video from you saying, hey, I'm super excited to meet you. You know, you're going to notice things are very different in our office. You know, our focus is just figuring out what it is that you want and then finding a way to make that happen. But before you come in, I just want to walk through a couple of things that we do offer so that when you are here, if there's anything that you do want, then we can talk about it openly. Think about, you know, treatment videos of people that are interested in certain things, being able to get pre-recorded videos of what those treatments entail, and then follow-up videos, post-op instructions. I mean, the list goes on and on. When you personalize the experience for them, it's the fastest way to grow your business. Because now, instead of waiting for people to come to you and you spending an hour with each of them, you get to leverage your time and get in front of a lot more people. Essentially, you get to see way more new patients each month if you understand how to leverage it correctly. Okay, so let's give a quick example. I'm not going to go into a ton of detail here, but you can read that if you're looking at your screen. But this is a young woman who reaches out, and to summarize it, basically says, hey, 12.5-year battle with an eating disorder, not confident in my smile, my teeth hurt. You know, I'm 2 years clean of that disorder now, but I look in the mirror every day and still see like memories of my past. Had a new baby. You know I need help. I just don't have money. You know, and we're looking to see if there's a payment plan option or if there's a grant for this type of thing. And when you look at that and initially read it, you may read it from a place of, oh, this is going to be a disaster. You know, usually people with that long history of an eating disorder, you know, the teeth are really worn down. There's a lot of issues. And if they're talking about payment plans or paying piece by piece now, you know, we know that that's pretty much impossible to do. But instead of sending that patient to a phone call, having them come in, spending an hour to go through all of their options like the last 4 dentists did to her, now you have an opportunity to get in front of them without them ever coming in to see you. Okay, so it's a simple, hey, Alexa, I can help you. You know, if you are open to uploading a couple photos to the link in my bio, I will get back to you with a video that'll explain your options and give you an idea of what I can do to help you out. So she uploads the photos. What do we see? Okay. Complicated case. Most of us are stressing out at this point. How do you even begin to restore that? How do you let this woman know that while you can help her, it's going to be really expensive? And the fact that she's done this 4 times already, and every other dentist gave her the same responses. Oh, wow, yeah. Well, first you need to understand that all the enamel's missing. Going through all these things that even make her more embarrassed. And then they give her printouts. This is her words, not mine. Printouts of all these different options that they can do. Every single option really expensive. And so she goes home and she does nothing. But if you take your time and record a video and say, hey, Alexa, I can help you. You know, these are your options. This is what it looks like. This is somebody who's gone through this before, and this is what her smile looked like. This is what we're able to do for her. You know, the reality is, here's where you are. Here's where I know we can get you, but it's going to cost money to do that. And this is roughly what it's going to cost. So when you're ready, reach out. We'd love to work with you. You'll see a couple buttons below this video. You know, get in touch with my team, and we can go through the next steps of what this looks like. Okay. What if she never moves forward to treatment? Wasted time for me, right? Or is it? You know, if she never moved forward to treatment and she wasn't ready yet, at least she knows what's possible, and at least she has some hope. And it cost me 7 minutes of my time. But what ended up happening is Alexa, who doesn't have the money to do this, has parents that do, has a grandmother that does, has a boss of her husband's that can help. And so it took her 6 months to make it happen, but she moved forward with treatment because I could now get in front of the other financial decision makers. They could watch that video that I sent to her and be totally bought into my treatment plan instead of making her take a, you know, printed out, itemized list of all the stuff that needs to be done back to those family members or back to her spouse. Okay. So what's wild about this is, I mean, here we are, we're almost 3 years later now. This is an old photo. She's got another baby now. You know, she's got an amazing smile. I get to see her post on social media all the time, and her life's been completely changed. So yeah, it's great. I got to do some great cosmetic dentistry, and it was very profitable for the business. It's not about that. It's about this. It's about how do you get in front of more people like this that are going to value what you do and love working with you and be excited about moving forward with the dentistry they need. Okay, so let's clarify a couple things. If you start doing these consults and you are showing up on the consult just like you'd show up in the dental office, you're doing it wrong. So this isn't like talking in dental terminology. This isn't over explaining things. This isn't any of those things. This is purely a chance for you to get in front of somebody and say, hey, I can help you. You know, and let me share some stories about people I've helped in the past. Let me kind of walk you through what that looks like and how many visits we can do it in and roughly what it would cost. When you're ready, I'd love to work with you. That's what it is. There's no way you can treatment plan. There's no way you can diagnose. And you know that. You know, you don't have enough information to do that until they're actually there in person with you in the office. So this doesn't replace that. This is like what comes before that. You know, Solution Reach, you know, we've used them for years because they, you know, it's a platform that helps me, you know, connect with more patients and improve that communication process. You know, just like any other CRM platform that we may have in dentistry. And essentially, this is what comes before that, before they actually are in your office and can connect with you and meet you. This is all the connection and communication that happens before that. Okay. Most importantly, and I've talked about this already a few different times, it lets you get in front of the spouse or other financial decision maker. It gives you the opportunity now. And if you know that these people are going to be watching, when you go and record that initial consult, you can do so knowing that other people will be watching. You can do so, you know, knowing that it's not just them making the decision, that they have other people that are going to be a part of that process too. Okay. But most importantly, it now gives you full control over the sales process. So instead of leaving it up to the old sales cycle and hoping that everything goes well, and now they're actually in your office and it's time to present the options, instead of it feeling like you're upselling or feeling awkward and you're trying to read their body language and you don't know if they're feeling like you're ripping them off or if they trust you, instead of worrying about any of those feelings, and you know what it feels like, you know, whether you're a team member watching this or a doctor, you know what that feels like when it's a big case and you've got to present it, and you don't want them to think you're selling them, because you're not. You're really trying to help them see what's possible. When it's pre-recorded and sent, it gives you the opportunity to fully control that process and be able to just be there and help them. And if you mess up, good, you can record it again. That's the great part about it. But most importantly, it allows you to leverage your time. So now instead of walking into a consult blind, not knowing anything about that patient and spending a full hour going through the process, now you get to spend 5 or 10 minutes with 6 people in an hour, and maybe only half of those are ready to move forward. But I would rather see 5 or 6 people in an hour recording videos for them, and then only seeing the people in my practice that are 100% ready to move forward with treatment. The key then is just knowing how to get more leads into that virtual consult pipeline, right? My favorite thing, and I feel like it's not really stressful to talk about money for me, but it is stressful. You know, it's when you don't know where people are at financially, it's really difficult to approach that conversation because you want to respect them. You don't want to blow them away with finances, but you also want to help them see what their options are and what's available to them. So this makes it really easy because you don't see them in front of you, and because it's not a back and forth conversation, you just acknowledge that. Hey, I know, you know, I don't really know what your budget is, and because there's so many different options, and I'm recording this for you, I'm just going to share them all with you, and then you can decide what makes the most sense for you. When you start really thinking about the psychology of what's happening here, you truly get to do more of the dentistry you love without having to sell anything, because you're just educating now and people are making their own decisions about treatment and what it is they want to do. So raise your hand right now, raise your hand in the air, even though I can't see it, if you agree that using video and educating people with video and going through this process virtually before they come in to see you, if you truly feel like that can increase your case acceptance, like I want you to acknowledge it, because now like that's a big part of this process. It's almost like, hey, here's the old way. This is the way we've always done it because this is the way we were taught and this is just what dentistry does. And then it's like, okay, this is a new way. It's uncomfortable because it's like, well, what if I share with them the fee and they think it's too expensive? You know, what if, and we're going to talk about that here in a minute, but it's all this other, these unknowns, and it's uncomfortable. But if you at least acknowledge that if I were able to show you how you can get more leads into this pipeline now, and you were able to get in front of a lot more people, doing things this way would save you time, would allow you to do more of the dentistry you love, and would allow you to be more effective in your treatment presentation. If you can acknowledge that, then we can move on, because now it's more about showing you ways of how to get more people into that pipeline. Okay. I think of it this way, you know, this idea of waiting versus creating. For me, waiting is what I used to do 3 years ago before I started doing this. I would show up every day and I would look at my schedule and I'd see, you know, is there a new patient on there? Okay, and I click on the and see what it is that they need. Was it just a regular exam, x-rays and cleaning, or was there some note in there about interested in Invisalign or interested in cosmetics or needing dental implants? Because I would get excited about those things. But I was always at the mercy of the schedule. I was always at the mercy of, were the patients going to call in, go through the whole process, schedule, and actually show up? This is different. Like now you create the success because you go to where they are. Stop waiting for them to come to you and be at the mercy of that. Now go to where they are. Because when you get in front of them and their spouse and other financial decision makers, you know, you're going to be so much more likely to be able to close treatment. And now it's just a much bigger pool of people looking for a new dentist. Okay, so I want to share with you my 3 secrets, you know, things that I do in my practice to drive more virtual consult leads, so that as you start to really think about becoming more of a virtual dentist, you know, in whatever platform you choose to use or however you decide to do that, now at least you know, okay, here's the secret is over here in recording the video consult. Like now, if I can just figure out how to dump more people into that process, I can be successful. So I'll walk through 3 of the things that I do in my practice to help you see more success. Number 1, and it seems like who would consciously want to make it or make it difficult for patients to do business with us? I don't think any of us look at what we do and say, oh, I'm going to intentionally make it really difficult for them to want to buy from me. But when you think about it, you do. We make it very difficult for people to buy. Mark Cuban puts it best. He says, make your product easier to buy than your competition, or you will find your customers buying from them and not you. This is what's happening in every single industry. Okay, right now, 2 things are happening in your practice. You're either slower than you like and you're wondering why new patient numbers are down, you know, why are things the way they are, why aren't we growing, or you're exploding with growth. And I feel like that's dentistry is kind of divided off into these 2 categories, because those that are really growing are recognizing that things are changing, and it's much less of a doctor driven process now. And it's much, you know, when I say doctor driven, that is patients will come to see me, I'll tell them what to do, and they will move forward with treatment. Some will, some won't. So what? You know, I'm just going to keep doing what I've always done. The patient-driven process is, hey, there's millions of people out there now that are much more aware of cosmetic procedures because they see them on social media, they see them online, they are more aware of fees, they are more aware of the process. Now it's, how can I serve them better so that they trust me and want to work with me? And so that is making your product easier to buy than your competition. Okay, so a couple things. Website. on your website, front and center, you should have something on there that says, hey, so let me back up for a minute. Traditionally, websites, when somebody lands on your website, averages are about 4 to 5% conversion of somebody landing on your site to actually taking action and moving forward and reaching out. Okay, very, very low. And those are offices that are actually doing well. Part of the reason is because, think about it, for if it's 7 o'clock at night, your office is closed, they're not going to reach out. If it's on the weekend, your office is closed, they're not going to reach out. If it's too early in the morning, your office is closed. You know, the times that we have available where people are actually wanting to reach out, you know, are few. So making it easy and saying, hey, you know what, you can get your questions answered for free without having to even leave your home. And, you know, we'll help you do that. Click this button, upload a photo of your area of concern or your smile, and our doctor will get back to you with some options and a cost breakdown. And then you decide if you're a good fit for, or if we're a good fit for what you're looking for. And we'd love to see you. So now instead of getting 4 to 5% of conversion, because what you're asking them to do is a big step, they got to be fully committed. Now it jumps up to 17% conversion. Why? Because whenever they're looking at your website, wherever they are, in whatever stage of the buying process they're in, it's real easy for them. It doesn't cost them anything. It lowers the barrier to entry. They're much more willing to upload photos and reach out to you that way, okay? So on your website, make sure front and center, it's got to say something right there of you request a virtual consult. Some patients don't know what that is, so you need to explain it a little bit more. Are you self-conscious or smile? Are you looking for a certain type of procedure? You know, we'll answer your questions. We'll make it super simple for you. Right front and center on your website. That's like the low-hanging fruit. These are people already coming to your site. There's 95% of them are leaving. I'm showing you a way to basically triple the amount of people that are going to reach out to you. Okay, price shoppers. First off, why in dentistry have consultants and have we as doctors always told our staff or our team not to answer questions on the phone about price? Why do we do it? Okay, it's the one thing everybody wants to know. Why don't we want to do it? Because if we do it, what happens is now if somebody's on their phone just calling around 10 different dental offices and somebody's veneer over here is $1,500, this is $1,300, this is $2,500. Now essentially all the patient has to compare it to is other people's prices. So you've created almost a commodity and there's no real value in what you do. So the reason we want people to come in and see us in the office is so that we can build trust, that we can build that connection, so that we can show them, here's our office, here's our team, we're really amazing, we'll take really good care of you. And that's why our fee is $2,500 a tooth, you know, and you're going to get what you pay for. So there's knowledge around, and there's inspired knowledge around why we don't quote fees over the phone. What I'm trying to explain to you here is you can now quote fees in a video and accomplish all the same things as you can by getting them to come to you first. Because instead of making them jump through all those hoops, take time off work, get a babysitter, drive across town, do all that just to get in front of you so they can understand what the fee is, gather their information, sit down in front of them and say, hey, I'm Dr. Harris, thanks for reaching out. Like, I just want you to know, by the time you're done watching this, I'm gonna have all your questions answered. I'll give you a good idea of what you could do, what it's going to cost, you know, other examples of people that have gone through it just like you. And when you're ready to work together, we'd love to work with you. So let's get started. Let me walk you through kind of our process. So you still now have the opportunity to get in front of that person, create massive value, create a connection, and I would argue in a much more powerful way than making them do all this stuff and then come into your office. You know, now you're doing it in a way where they're comfortable watching it. They can do it on their time. You do it on your time. So price shoppers, every single time somebody calls in on the phone and asks for a price in my office, my team now is trained, hey, you know what? We do things differently here at Harris Dental. Our doctors will actually reach out to you. They'll record a video, give you your options. They'll even quote fees right there over the video. And then once you watch it, you can decide if it makes sense to come and see us, and come in. We'll see you for a consult. So now every single one of those price shoppers gets directed to the website to upload a virtual consult, okay? So now you're not only capturing more people from the website because you have that strong call to action. Now, every time somebody calls in price shopping, you're capturing those people for virtual consults. So you can start to see how this can really start to build quickly. Now, website, Instagram, LinkedIn, if I can give you a link now to capture their name, their phone number, what they look like, a full face, a close-up, their emotional pain point of what they're trying to fix. Nowhere in dentistry have we ever been able to capture all that information before they come into the office. So you take that link and you put it on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on your website. I know doctors that put it on billboards, that put it on little billboards like at the mall, a little thing patients can scan it with their phone, upload the information there. The reason you want to drop everything into that funnel of a virtual consult is now everything's in one place. Now you can control that sales cycle. Doctors, if you're watching this and you're like, I don't even have the time, I barely have the time to treat my own patients. There's no way I'm gonna have the time to do this. I would challenge that. I would say first, you do have the time. You're just spending it now, spending an hour-long process with people that aren't ready to buy. And so just that alone is time. But also if you really are not seeing it and you're not feeling it, you have team members that are amazing at this kind of stuff. Let them do it. They'll thrive in this environment because now they'll be able to really share with people what's possible. So drive it to virtual consults first. If you have all of these go through a treatment coordinator first, then that's okay. Okay, number 2, the power of social proof. This is one of the one of the biggest things that I've done for my practice over the last few years, and it's one of the most intimidating things for a lot of doctors because a lot of people think like, oh, I'm too late. I'm too late to get in the game. Oh, there's no way this will work for me. And we've proven time and time and time again, the market is massive. It's wide open. There's people all over out there that have no idea. They've never even seen other dentists work on Instagram or on social media. So you can grow a presence. What I want to make sure we understand is I'm not talking about social media. Okay, this is social media. This is team photos, patient of the week, core values, an award, a picture of somebody whitening. This is flossing, memes, jokes. That does nothing to drive elective dentistry your way. It's great. It's great for building culture. It's cute to have out there, but that's not how you grow your business. It's not how you grow your brand. The goal is for people to land on your page and immediately say, oh, okay, this is what they do. This is what they're good at. These are the type of people they treat. And these are examples of their work. Like, if I'm going to do this, I need to see them. So I'm talking about social proof. I'm talking about a personal brand that's you, the doctor, your face. It's almost like there was a time when every dentist was known by their name only, and that's what was on the sign. And then there's this big shift in all this new world of marketing, and now everything was around, like for me in my office, Harris Dental, building the Harris Dental brand. And now what's happening is all shifting back to a personal brand. How do we know this? Because I have a social media pages for Harris Dental, the company. Then each of the doctors have their own personal social media pages. We may get 1 or 2 inquiries over here on the Harris Dental account in a month, where over here, each doctor is getting 2, 3, 4 a day sometimes. And sometimes it's only 1 or 2 a week, but it proves that people are much more willing to do business with people. People want to do business with people, not companies. And people are much more likely to reach out to a person, to you as a doctor, as an individual, than they are to Northwest Dental, Agave Dental, Harris Dental. They want to connect with somebody. They want to be able to send messages and get their questions answered. Okay. Aside from that, for somebody to find me on my Harris Dental website, they have to go online, search for Cosmetic Dentist Arizona, weed through all the sponsored ads, find my website, click on my website, go to Meet Us, go to the doctors, go to Dr. Brian Harris, scroll down, go to Smile Gallery. They're like 8 clicks deep into a website before they even get to see who you are and what you do. And it's a very active process. They have to sit down and actually take the time to do it. In the social space, it's passive. They're not doing anything. They're looking at their friend's feed and it says like, my doctor's amazing, or they see somebody tag you, or they see a picture of one of their friends smiling and they see this amazing smile. By one click, they go right to your feed and they get to see everything about you immediately. Now it's just a matter, once you've grabbed their attention, sending them to the bio and requesting a virtual consult. That's all in the verbiage you use when you post. It's all in how you direct people and the call to action you use. So I want, before I move on, I want you to like see the real difference here of trying to send everybody to a company and a business versus opening up and creating this strong personal brand of people wanting to reach out to you. Where most people get intimidated is they're like, well, I don't want to post pictures of my work. I don't want to be judged. You know, and my challenge to you is, you know, stop thinking about you. Think about the patient. You know, if you truly believe you do quality dentistry and that you could help people out there that are struggling with their self-confidence, then just get over it. Don't worry about what other people think. All your friends, you know, family, people around you, they're gonna love what you do. Who cares what some other dentist thinks in a different state? You know, you can't think about that type of stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna show you now kind of the easiest ways to build your social media feed so that when people land on it, they immediately see in that first half second. That's how long it takes for people to make a judgment call about you and what you do, that they see something, they're like, oh, okay, here's who he is, here's who she is, here's what they do, here's the type of people they treat that are just like me. I should reach out. And it's easy and it's free and it's a virtual consult. You know, you can see how these barriers now get dropped. So number one, gather before and afters, okay? If you weren't good at taking pictures of cases before, I'm gonna show you a way to fast track that here in a few minutes, how you can gather a ton of content very quickly. Take before and afters, start putting them in a folder on your desktop. Just start saving them, okay? There's apps, I use the app called Photofy. Let me tell you how to spell that, because I always forget to. It's Photofy. And that's what I use. It's really easy. I drop the before and the after in there. I can scale it. I can put a logo on there. It's very, very simple to use. But start gathering examples of before and afters. Okay, put them in a folder. Then start gathering pictures of family, dogs, hobbies, team members, you know, office culture, something more personalized that will attach a personal connection between you and whoever's following you. To basically humanize you instead of it being just another business that they're reaching out to. Let people know who you are. It's powerful. And 3, patient testimonies. So start gathering those in different spaces so that you now can say, okay, I'm going to post 3 a week. Post a testimony, post something personal, post it before and after. The key is always, if you want things to line up, which I recommend, it just looks way better than just having random stuff everywhere. Just make sure every 3rd post is a before and after case. Okay. Then what happens is things will shift in your feed that you're looking at, but the before and after cases will always line up. Okay. How do you get patient testimonies? I mean, first off, I use a modeling agreement. Anytime somebody asks for a discount, I give it to them. 10% discount for sure. What I'm going to ask for in exchange is that you're willing to go onto social media, you know, post about your smile, tag me in it, and do a 1-minute video testimony. I'm happy to give you a discount, because that's how, you know, people want, you know, it's called the law of the herd. People want to do what they perceive other people are doing. And so if they see their friends or if they see people like them going to a certain doctor, they're more likely to do that too, because there's that trust built in there. So there's ways that I can show you how to use this modeling agreement to get more people to tag you. And I'm willing to share that with you. Okay, so you get the idea now of, you got these 3 different buckets of before and after cases, personal content, testimonials. Now you're going to start just deciding when you're going to post, and start posting. The best time to post is between 3 and 5 p.m. and just set it up on automatic post. There's apps out there. Planoly is a good one. That's what I use, Planoly. that you can put all your posts in order, make them look good. You can schedule them when they're going to get posted. This is something, if you don't want to do it, put one of your millennial team members on it and make them do it. It's something you need to be doing. I read an article the other day. The article literally said websites are dead, and it compared websites to yellow pages. Remember when websites first came out? We were all talking about what we were going to do for our yellow pages ad. I remember sitting down 16, 17 years ago and having that conversation with my dad and brothers of, do we want a full page ad or do we want a quarter page ad? And websites came out, it was all new, and just like that, yellow pages were gone. Why? Because it's so much easier to market on a website. The article is basically saying, hey, websites are dead. Now it's all social media, because that's where people are. They're not on websites as much anymore. So if you've been hesitant, reluctant, just get out of your own way and do it. Put somebody on your team in charge of it and just run with it. I talked a minute ago about waiting versus creating, specifically when it comes to before and after cases. So I'm going to show you now how you can gather amazing clinical content very, very fast. Part of it is using the model agreement. You don't have to do that. Part of it is just picking 5 people and saying, okay, this assistant, this person at the front desk, my sister-in-law who's got peg laterals, really small teeth, that patient of mine that's had that gummy smile and been wanting to do something for a long time but can't afford it, pick 5 people. Do their treatment at a discount, 50% off, 75% off, 25% off, whatever it is that they're willing to do it at a discount. And the verbiage is something like this: hey, we've seen the power of transforming smiles with cosmetic dentistry. And so we're working on a project right now. We're choosing 5 patients, and we're going to document their journey that they go through and show people like how powerful a confident smile can be. But I'm only taking 5 people. If this is something you're willing to do, I'd love for you to be a part of it. Here's what it's going to cost to do it. Once you get those people bought in now your job is go and gather content for each patient. Take good before and after full face, good before and after, or good before full face, good before close up, before side view. Get a 1-minute video testimonial of why they're self-conscious of their smile before. Then do the case. Take images, of video of you doing the case. When you're done, get a full face before and after, or a full face after, I'm sorry, a full face or a close-up after, a video testimonial after. Have them post a couple times on social media. From each of those patients, you can have 10 different posts to put on social media for clinical content. So my point is, you can wait around, you can wait for that next patient to come in. Maybe it's 3 or 4 months down the road, and then you go and take good photos on that case. It's going to take you years to do this. Or you can say, you know what? I'm going to pick 5 cases. I'm going to at least charge this much to get my lab fee covered. I'm going to come in on a Friday. Within a month, you can have tons of clinical content that shows the kind of work you do. Now you go and post that on social media. That's how doctors grow really fast. That's how I've been able to help doctors go from, doing a little bit of dentistry to doing, only cosmetic dentistry, or only all on 4 cases, or only Invisalign, by using that same methodology. Okay? Stop selling. Okay? People hate to be sold, but they love to buy. There's so much truth in this statement that people hate to be sold. People know when they're being sold. And dentistry is one of those professions where patients just expect it. It's like getting your oil changed. You always expect for them to come out and tell you that you need a new air filter, because that's their business model, and that's how people think of dentistry. I'm going to share a little experience about why it's different now and how it applies to us. So this is my family. We like to go to the dunes. This is my son on the right, on top of our Can-Am. And he decided this last dunes trip that he was going to have his girlfriend come with us. And she came, and of course, he decided to go out that first night and show off, and literally broke the whole front wheel off of the Can-Am. So this is us trying to rescue it at night. And we had to tow it all back to camp. I got home. I took it to, I'm not going to name the name, but I took it to the place where I bought it from, that I've purchased several other different dirt bikes and things from in the past. I've got an awesome relationship with them. I told them we needed it fixed. They got back to me a week later, and this is what they gave me. Okay, basically the equivalent of a Dentrix printout, itemized list of all these things. I start looking at them like a wash, $20 for a washer. You know, I go through all these things. I'm like, a wheel stud, $27, grease, you know, $15. And I'm like, I'm getting totally screwed over. You know, $3,500 to replace one wheel, that doesn't make any sense. And so I just got kind of a bad taste in my mouth. And I'd been following somebody on social media that does a lot of customization stuff. And so I just messaged him. I said, hey, this is what happened. I sent him a picture of it. I said, is there, you know, what do you recommend? He's like, hey, I'll be totally honest with you. You can go and replace that one wheel. But if you're going to do that, you know, that's the most common thing that happens is those wheels break off on the Can-Ams. If you're going to do that, replace it with something customized that's way stronger, that looks cooler. That way it doesn't happen again. And while you're at it, like we do a ton of other stuff. If there's, you know, I see those doors on there. If you wanted to replace them with our custom doors, we can do that for you. And, you know, just let us know. I mean, that's what we do. We help people like you all the time, and we'd love to work with you. Basically, the exact same thing that I'm teaching you to do right now in dentistry. People, once you set up a page like this, people will reach out because it's easy. They'll send you messages, and then just share with them what their options are. Record a video and send it. And it's easy. It's much easier to sell things when you don't feel like you're selling. You're just sharing options. So what do you think I did? Did I pay the $3,500? Like I felt like I was getting ripped off at $3,500 for one wheel. No, I end up going in and I get the wheels replaced and I get the doors. I end up paying like $7,500 for stuff I didn't need. Why? Because I didn't like that I was feeling sold. I didn't like the feeling that somebody was taking advantage of me and charging me for all these little things because I was in I was going to say in pain, but not in pain. I was in emotional pain of not being able to use, you know, my Can-Am. But I loved buying. I loved writing that check for $7,500. Why? Because I got something that I can enjoy. It's no different with your patients and smiles. The problem is people may be coming to you now, but it's so easy for them to reach out to somebody else that they're going to start reaching out. And so make your product easier to buy than your competition, like I said before. So the true secret to double case acceptance without having to sell, I mean, really do this, you know, stop doing this and do this. Okay, stop doing this. Don't send them through the old sales cycle and make them jump through all those hoops. Make it easy for them to buy from you. When you do that, more and more people are going to want to do business with you. Not only that, but now think of the amount of people that you reach out to that never move forward with you, at least not yet, is that many more people out there that know who you are, know what you do, and are just so appreciative that you took the time to reach out. So my challenge to you as we wrap this up here, become a virtual dentist. You know, however you decide to do it, become a virtual dentist because it is the future of our profession. It's how people are wanting to do business with us. Now's the time. You know, actually, the time was 3 years ago, right? And the second best time to start is now, because this is the future of our profession. And it's taken 3 years to figure out all the different ways to do this, ways to leverage technology, ways to make it really easy. You know, I've learned a lot. You know, I've recorded what 5,000 virtual consults myself. You know, 60,000 virtual consults have gone through the platform that I use. I mean, it's just a total game changer. So questions you have for me, that's the best way to reach me. You can find me on Instagram, shoot me a DM if you want, or just email me. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. Hillary.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Harris. This is fantastic. All right. So Dr. Harris is happy to stay on the line and answer some questions from the group today.
Hillary, I know I put this slide in here because I know we had talked about, you know, if we were going to do this, maybe something that you guys wanted to do.
Absolutely.
You know, solutions for those things, because some aren't using your platform and they should be. Will you walk them through kind of what you guys are doing?
Yeah, so today we have a webinar special offer only for those that are in attendance right now. So after our webinar, you'll have access to a post-webinar survey where you will have the opportunity to request a demo. Those who do will be able to get the platform at the $329 cost, but get this, the available add-on features are for $25, and that includes video chat or SR telehealth, online schedule through SR schedule, digital intake, and online reviews. So this is actually this is a limited time offer, but yes, this is something that we are going to be able to provide for you today. And I think you also have a special promotion as well.
You know it. So the reason I take time to do these types of webinars, truly, I mean, obviously, I'm passionate about helping doctors see this new way of connecting with patients, and you know, just being able to be on here, knowing that people that are going to show up and watch this, they're already winners. So I have this saying, you know, within my staff and my team of like, I just want to find people that are already winners that know how to win and just show them how to win more. So just the fact of being here, like, lets me know that you're already a successful practice. You're looking for ways to improve. I'm going to show you how to win more. So one of the things I decided is to offer the perfect virtual consult script. So this is 5,000 virtual consults, you know, learning what to say, how to say it, when to say it, you know, specific slides and images that I use in my virtual consults to get points across. And then a recorded example of what that looks like. So when you sit down to start doing these, you don't have to spend 3 years figuring it all out. Just take that blueprint and use it, and you'll see success, right? Because a lot of it really is more around the psychology of what's happening. So anybody on here who's already a winner, if you want to know how to win more, that perfect virtual consult script is usually $9.97. For anybody that signs up for Smile Virtual from this webinar, you will get that for free. And then we waive the sign up fee, the $1,000 sign up fee. So essentially it's just it's a $399 a month commitment. And you're gonna start using the Smile Virtual platform, which is the platform that I created to connect with these patients. We've got about 450 doctors using that platform now in 4 different countries. So for that, and I will open up to questions now, but the easiest way, if you want to take advantage of that, pick up your phone, scan that QR code. That'll get you all the information for that. Or if you're driving or just listening, nick@smilevirtualconsult.com. That's who you're going to want to reach out to. He is amazing. He's on my team. His job is just to help answer any questions that you have, but it's nick@smilevirtualconsult.com. Okay. Questions? Let's do it.
All right, so we've just got a couple of them. One of them, you mentioned before about using Photify, and that's an app that you can use to include text on the before and after photos. Are there any other apps or any other tips that you can suggest on how do they determine what types of caption they should include?
Yes. So a couple thoughts there. I'm pulling up my phone right now because I'm going to tell you exactly the ones that I use to make it easy. So I use on mine, I use Photify. That's for putting together images, for making things look good. There's an app called Canva, C-A-N-V-A, if you want to get a little more creative. That's how you can make things look cool, right? That's how you can take photos and images and put them together and make it look professional. That's a great one to use. The other ones that I recommend, as far as I'm gonna stop. Let's see. I'm gonna see if I can stop screen share here. Can you take me off screen share? Here, I'll go to this.
Yes, we can.
Go back to just my video, just so I can show them my face when I'm telling them these things. It'll be a little bit easier.
Absolutely. 1 second.
So I'll just walk you through all the stuff that I'm currently using.
Are you still wanting to share your screen?
No.
Okay.
Is it on there now, or is it just my face now?
It's just your face.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, it's easier when I can see myself talking, so I feel like I'm actually having a conversation with people. So Photify, Canva, and then Planoly. Those really are the only three that I use. The secret to figuring this stuff out, though, is just finding somebody that you see doing it and having success. Just copy what they're doing, right? You know, it's the best way to do it. I mean, you have to realize that some doctors that have been doing this for years and years, they've tried everything. They know what captions work. They know what call to actions work. If you want to go to my page specifically, you can see exactly how I word things. You can see the hashtags I use. You can see the call to action that I use to drive people to request a virtual consult. Just copy that. You know, it works. I mean, sometimes we don't want to offend people. We don't want to make people think that we're just copying what they do. But if you just take what's already working and apply it to your own patients, it's the best way to see success.
So the three platforms that you use are, it's Photify,
Photify,
Canva,
yeah, Canva,
and what was the last one? And Dr. Harris, you've broken up for me. I don't know if it's broken up for others, but if you can repeat that last one more time.
Yes, I'm sorry. It's Planoly, Planoly.
Fantastic. Now, once you have somebody that's created all of these assets, what platforms or channels do you recommend to help with the marketing that you've talked about? How do you get the word out there?
The hottest one right now is still Instagram, and it will be for a while. The great thing about Instagram is it's owned by Facebook. And so you can post to Instagram and have it automatically post to Facebook. So that's what I do. Then it kind of takes care of both of those platforms with the least amount of effort. There's LinkedIn. LinkedIn isn't as strong. That's more for people, you know, doing business. TikTok is popular. It's a little bit, you got to be a little bit more out of your comfort zone, be willing to do, you know, more silly stuff, and it's definitely a younger demographic, but that's also one of the other hot platforms that you can repost the content. The goal, though, is create the content, divide it up in those three piles, assign somebody on your team to do it. Once you have the content, then they can go and post it in the different places. It's just most people get stuck in the content creation part.
Right. So another question was, would you recommend the same model to a boutique dentistry office?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I mean, that's what that model really serves. I mean, so like me in my practice, all I do is smile design cases, and you know, we're booked out to the last week in December right now. You know, it's all because of virtual consults. You know, we've got a way to get in front of a lot more people, and that's what we teach within the platform. Now, it's not for everybody. You know, I'm not saying, oh, you need to go and become a boutique. I still have my main hair dental practice that does crowns, you know, implants, fillings, all that stuff. I just don't do that personally, but I mean, it for sure fits that model.
Fantastic. Now we have a great follow-up question. We have a listener all the way from, or participant all the way from Pakistan. And so it's great to see the international reach that we have here today. So he says that here we charge for consultations. Do you feel if we start with virtual consultations, should we charge for it? Also, how do we control, this is a great question, how do we control the consult videos from being circulated? For example, treatment charges may vary from patient to patient, but patients might not understand that. Would love your input on this.
Okay, those are like three really good questions. So let's talk about, no, this is good. This is really good. So let's talk about the first one. What was the first? Read that first part again. That was the best part.
The first one is, here we charge for consultations.
Okay.
Do you feel that we should charge for it?
So here's the thing. If you're sitting and doing these all day long and giving advice on people with, you know, swelling that need extractions, like that's not fun. And so yes, you can charge for them. And it's just like in a regular emergency teledentistry consult, you can give them a script, you can treat it that way. But my philosophy is always this. I would much rather like don't step over $100 to pick up 10. You know, I would much rather, and it's all about value, I'd much rather see you take 5 minutes and say, hey, listen, I can help you. here's what I recommend. Here are the options. There's a lot of different things you can do when you're ready. I'd love to work with you. One, it makes you different than everybody else. Two, people buy based on value. They buy based on trust. Then it's not necessarily about the cost of the $40 consult. You're giving a little bit of time for a lot in return. And also it takes out the conversations about insurance, about all those other things. Okay, so yes, I don't believe you should charge for it. The only time that I think you should charge is if somebody is actually wanting advice on something where they're in pain or something along those lines. But don't ever, I mean, here's the deal. If you charge, it just puts up a barrier. Now it's that many, because automatically people are like, well, I don't know if I trust them. What if they come back? What if I don't like what they say? And so you keep a lot of people from reaching out that would have otherwise. I'd much rather you not charge it, get the leads, and then decide how you want to manage those. Get the lead first, then if you're like, I feel like I should charge for this, then have someone on your team reach out and say, hey, the doctor's willing to put together, a video consult and share that with you. You don't even have to come in. He's going to give you some advice, but it's going to cost this amount to do that. Or just pop on and record. So hopefully that helped answer that. Fees. I believe that the best way to present fees is an all-inclusive fee and to simplify that whole process. Okay, when that guy reached back out to me for my Can-Am, he didn't give me a list of all the different things. He said, hey, we can do all of that, fix it, it'll look amazing, it's gonna be strong, we'll replace all the arms, this is kind of what it would look like, total cost is gonna be $7,500 to do that. I didn't care about all the little things, I'd rather not. I just wanna know, like, what's the cost at the end of the day. And so that, I think you get into more trouble when you itemize everything, because then that can change from patient to patient. But if you just quote, an all-inclusive fee, then they know that that's what it's going to cost to fix them and to help them with their smile or to straighten their teeth. And so that gets confusing for some people when you are a patient that accepts or an office that accepts a lot of insurance. But I think sometimes people are reaching out because they want a solution. They don't even ask about insurance, but then we bring it up and we have this insurance conversation to make it all about insurance. What you'll find is that very, very few people ask that question when they're reaching out this way. They're just looking for answers. If that conversation comes up after the fact, then so be it. But I would have it be an all-inclusive fee. Sit down and say, what do I normally charge for a crown, a buildup? If I was to do this all together, what would feel good if I, 18,000 for 10 veneers or 10 crowns? Am I cool with that? Don't worry about the gingivectomy, the buildup, all those things. Set a one-time all-inclusive fee. And also, you have to understand. So let me follow up to that. You have to understand that people know, like, this isn't an actual quote because they still need to come and see you. And so you can tell them that in the video. Hey, the 90% of the time, like, we're able to estimate exactly what it's going to be. And if that changes when we see you, we'll be open with you. We'll share that with you, but most likely it's going to be right around this fee.
So that's great, Dr. Harris. You talked about do you charge, or if you charge, you talked about fee structure. One thing though is the concern about the need to control the consult videos from being circulated. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's the most important part, the HIPAA compliance, and you don't want those videos being out shared all about. And so, I mean, that was the whole reason why Smile Virtual was created, is to have all of that communication in one place that's fully HIPAA compliant. So the only way that that can be shared is if somebody goes to somebody else, logs in and shows them their video. You can't just share a video like that. It all lives within the platform itself. So the part about people, like, let's say two friends, and it happens to me, I recorded a video for somebody last year, and now I've raised my fees twice, since I recorded that. And so the fees are going to be different here. And most people will understand that the pricing varies from patient to patient if you don't break it down and itemize every little thing.
Fantastic. Well, that's it for our questions today. We'll go ahead and make sure we review one last time. The code for CE certification is GROW, that's GROW 6321. Thank you so much, everyone, for attending today's webinar. Do not hesitate to reach out. Again, that CE's verification code is GROW 6321. And today's webinar was brought to you by Solution Reach. We realize that providers and office managers work relentlessly to drive patient experience and business revenue, but their days can be long and chaotic, leaving little time to think strategically. Assign those time-assuming tasks to Solution Reach, those reminders, recall, online scheduling, patient intake, and more, and give your staff and yourself time for high-value activities that actually boost ROI. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining today's webinar.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Dr. Harris.